The Story of Chocolate by C.J. Pullen. Chocolate trees. Do you like chocolate? Most people would answer yes. We eat an average of 11 pounds or 5 kilograms of chocolate per person per year. That's about 100 bars each. But where does chocolate come from? And how is it made into that sweet, delicious treats that we love to eat? The story of chocolate begins in the rainforest where cacao trees grow. Cocoa pods grow on the cacao trees, and inside the pods are seeds called cocoa beans. These cocoa beans are the magic ingredient in chocolate. Here are some dried cocoa beans. Theobroma cacao. In 1753, Swedish scientist Linnaeus gave the cacao trees its scientific name, Theobroma cacao, meaning food for the gods. It was well known that he liked chocolate. Cacao trees grow in the hot, damp shade beneath the leafy canopy of the taller trees in the rainforest. There, the cacao trees blossom with pink and white flowers. Unlike other trees, these flowers grow directly from the trunk and main branches. Tiny insects called gnats carry pollen between the blossoms, fertilizing them so cocoa pods will grow. And here's a gnat sitting on the tip of a pin. Only a fraction of the hundreds of blossoms develop into cocoa pods. Like the blossoms, the pods grow directly from the trunk and branches of the tree. Many cacao trees grow both blossoms and pods all year round. After about 4 months, the cocoa pods grow to the size of melons. It takes another month before they are fully ripe. The color of the ripe pods ranges from yellow to dark red, depending on the tree. The pods are hard and must be split open with force to reveal the beans. Each pod contains about 40 cocoa beans surrounded by sticky white pulp. These are the precious beans that make chocolate. Who first discovered that these strange-looking beans from these strange-looking trees could be used to make such a delicious treat? An ancient tree. Cacao trees grow in the ancient area called Mesoamerica, which includes southern Mexico and Central America. Many experts believe that the first people used to crack open the cocoa pod and use the bean were the ancient Olmec people, who lived from about 1200 to 200 BC. And all three civilizations, the Aztec, the Olmec, and the Mayan territory, were in Mesoamerica. The Mayan and Aztec civilizations followed. The Mayans were the first people to plant the beans of wild cacao trees. This was the beginning of cocoa farming. In return for other goods, the Mayans traded cocoa beans to the Aztecs. Those lands were too dry to grow cacao trees. Olmec monuments. Much of Mesoamerica culture is said to originate from the ancient Olmecs. In southern Mexico, they carved huge stone heads to praise their rulers. Both the Mayans and the Aztecs used cocoa beans to make a drink known as chocolatl. The beans were dried and crushed and then mixed with water. The Mayans drank chocolatl hot, while the Aztecs drank it cold. Often flavorings such as chili or vanilla were added. Nonetheless, the taste must have been very bitter. In fact, the word chocolatl is said to mean bitter water. Chocolatl was served on special occasions, such as rituals and royal feasts. The mixture was usually poured from a height into the drinking vessel to make a thick foam on the top. So here are chili peppers that they use for flavoring and vanilla pods used for flavoring. And here's how they attempted to pour it. Both the Mayans and the Aztecs used cocoa beans as money. They also gave beans as special gifts and as offerings to the gods. The land where cacao trees grew was very valuable. Over several centuries, the Aztecs expanded their empire and took over much of this land, including Mayan territories. They collected taxes from people in the form of cocoa beans. The Aztec kings filled storehouses with the precious beans. It is said that the emperor Montezuma had more than 960 million beans in his storehouses. And this is Emperor Montezuma. Army food supplies. Some of Montezuma's cocoa beans were made into wafers for his army. and this was an early type of instant cocoa mix.